Alright guys, I normally stick to my guns when I say I don't want a game, and those that know me know all about the criticisms I've expressed about The Outer Worlds. I prejudged it as being bad based on my dislike of the games it's been compared to since its reveal, as I'm sure any gamer has done. Well, I'm here to tell you that, to no one's surprise, I was absolutely wrong in my assumptions about the game. The Outer Worlds is a must-buy, and that is the conclusion I hope you arrive at by the end of this video. So, let's get into it. As any good RPG should do, The Outer Worlds starts you off with a load of choices in their character customization. Not just in the look of your character, but your beginning stats. I normally save the stat talk for later in the video, but now's as good a time as any. You have loads of options for character builds thanks to the way your attributes, perks, and skill groups work. You get 3 attributes and each come with 2 substats. Body comes with strength and dex, mind comes with intelligence and perception, and personality comes with charm and temperament. You only get a handful of points to alter these at the start of the game, after which debuffs and equipment mods will alter it for better or worse. Skills are a doozy. Each skill group has 2 or 3 skills in it. You get 10 skill points per character level, and you can upgrade skill groups in their entirety, meaning 1 point to the group adds 1 point to every skill in it, up to 50 points. After the skill group hits 50, you have to select specific skills in that group to upgrade, giving you better control of what skills you want to be the best at. Each skill grants you a buff every 20 points, up to 100, further increasing your abilities to ridiculous levels. Perks are more simple. Perks exist in tiers, requiring you to unlock 5 perks before the next tier opens up. But that's not really a restriction, since you can unlock them all at some point, either by leveling or by way of flaws. Flaws are a unique feature that give you a chance to take on 1 permanent debuff to your character in exchange for 1 perk point. With my guy, I took 1 too many hits to the old noggin, and I accepted a debuff called Permanent Concussion, which lowers all of my mind attributes and unlocks special dumb options in dialogue.
No advertisements, no shrines to the wanton gluttony the board so adamantly espouses. You know, Captain, your honesty is refreshing.
If you choose to reject the flaw and retain your sanity, you're free to do so, but as soon as you meet the conditions for the flaw again, the notice will reappear until you finally accept it. Other ways to boost your skills and stats are mods. Mods are mods that you can add to weapons and armor. Nothing new there, so no reason to go into detail. Food, drinks, and drugs are another way to provide boosts, if only for a limited time, and they can each be loaded into your primary method of healing, your emergency medical inhaler, to be used each time you heal. But be careful. If you load in a drug, use it too much, and then run out, you will suffer withdrawal, as you should, and all your stats will take a drastic nosedive. You won't need consumables a whole lot unless you're in a real bad spot, but in the highest difficulty, it's something akin to Fallout 4's survival mode, where you will absolutely need to eat and drink to keep your character healthy. The worlds of The Outer Worlds are filled with monsters, mechanicals, marauders, and everything in between. The regions aren't too large, I guess, since you don't have any vehicles to traverse them in. Even so, there's no shortage of sights to see, buildings to loot, and enemies to blow up. I like to walk around the map when I get to a new area, loot everything, and kill everything. That way when I go to the main town or towns of the region to accept quests, I already have them done, or I already cleared out the building or camp I'm going to go to. Easy peasy. Another thing I like about the quests is that there are no exclamation point quest markers over top of NPC heads. To find quests, you have to talk to NPCs around town and ask if they need anything done. I love this approach to questing, since whenever there are quest icons cluttering up my map or my radar, I get OCD and I make it my mission to do all the quests so I don't have to worry about seeing those damn things anymore. NPC dialogue is always a hoot.
Look, I didn't mean what I said about your outfit. It's very fashionable, I swear.
Thanks to your medical, science, engineering, persuasion, lying, or intimidation skills, you can choose more interesting dialogue choices. Companions can boost any one of these stats passively, so depending on who you bring with you, you get even more persuasive. You get to choose between 6 companions in The Outer Worlds, 2 of which I didn't get because I didn't like them, so I strongly declined their offers to join me. If you want a full roster, take them up on their offer when you get the chance. My favorite pair of companions are Parvati, because she hasn't seen much of the world and has an innocent opinion about a lot of things.
Oh gosh, that's quite a goof, sir. If you don't mind me saying.
I'm very well aware.
and Sam, the run-of-the-mill cleaning robot turned deadly force of nature.
Battery levels are fully charged.
Because even when he's melting your enemies' faces off with his acid launcher, he's still using his cleaning robot dialogue, and that's just great.
Sanitization incoming.
In combat, each companion can use an attack skill to dish out damage based on your leadership skill levels. Outside of combat, your companions can comment on discussions you're having with NPCs, but it doesn't affect much. I believe each companion also has a companion quest that focuses on some issue or undertaking they'd like your help with, but whether you do these or not only affects how that character ends up after the game ends. You can't romance any of them, and there's no affinity with them that you can raise or lose, so it's up to you how much time you want to waste on them. Now, on the other hand, the factions in the Outer Worlds care a whole lot about how much time you spend on them and what you do with it. There are a whole lot of factions to look out for, but the ones with the most influence are the Groundbreaker, the Iconoclasts, Monarch Stellar Industries, Sublight Salvage and Shipping, and the Board. Each of the many factions have territories, with the corporation settlements being the most useful. If you find yourself on bad terms with any faction, don't expect to be able to waltz into their territory without being shot at. If you get on their good side,
Your sense of humor is equally refreshing.
you can make full use of their gear and item vending machines with a nice corporate discount on prices. On multiple occasions throughout your adventure, you will have to choose between corporate factions or rebelling factions, so get in good with who you like and help them push out the opposition. Some of that pushing happens in dialogue, but the majority will come in the form of combat. Combat in this game has a powerful feel to it once you get your stats where they need to be. You have plenty of long-range options at your disposal, from standard weapons like assault rifles, pistols, and shotguns, to weapons of science like shrink rays and mind control guns. Science weapons are few and far in between, and you can only find them later in the game. They're less about damage and more about gimmicks, with the shrink ray being my personal favorite. One of your greatest advantages in combat is tactical time dilation, or TTD for short. For those of you who expected this game to be closely similar to Fallout, consider this like VATS. Tactical time dilation allows you to slow down time, giving you a moment to study your enemies and figure out weaknesses before engaging in battle, or giving you a chance to breathe and plan your way out of a dangerous situation. Doing any damage to enemies shortens your TTT gauge considerably, so I really only used it in unison with my hunting rifle so I could get those sweet headshots. All weapons and armor can be upgraded via the Tinkering tab, which is only accessible at a workbench. Tinkering is unlocked with your engineering skill, and the more you increase that skill, the less it costs to upgrade weapons, since it can get very pricey. Since I already said earlier that I'm not going to go into detail about weapon or armor modifications, I'm going to let Belle Everson explain why you should equip them.
Why, it gets you the weapon best suited for your lifestyle. Take your basic Deadeye assault rifle. Perfectly serviceable, but what if you like finesse? Slap a scope and silencer on that bad boy. Bunker down in a bush someplace and pop off heads. What if you like getting in close and making a lot of noise? Extended ammo magazine and a barrel heatsink to bump up rate of fire.
And that's that about that. Some mods also decrease the rate at which weapons and armor break down. Yes, weapons and armor have to be repaired. Breaking down any gear you don't need rewards you with weapon parts or armor parts, the single ingredient you would need to repair one or the other, so you shouldn't have an issue keeping your equipment in working order. Taking skills, equipment loadouts, and companions into account, you have endless ways to approach situations both in and out of combat. All this variety adds immensely to the replayability of the game, encouraging me to do multiple playthroughs and side with different factions to test the various story outcomes. Or if I want, I can upgrade my character to the height of power and go on a killing rampage, trying my hardest to break the game. No matter how you choose to play, you will undoubtedly have fun. The day The Outer Worlds came out, I was violently ill, so I didn't leave the house all weekend. Nevertheless, I had plenty of time, uninterrupted, to play the game. While making sure to see everything and do everything possible so I wouldn't beat the game too quickly, I still finished the game after around 25 hours. Some of you may think that's a short game, but after a few hours of playtime, I really felt like I got my money's worth. In the end, whether you get it on sale or at full price, The Outer Worlds is definitely worth your time. If you're on Xbox Game Pass, you know what I'm talking about, since that's the cheapest way a ton of people got to play the game already. If you don't have that pass, you can buy it outright on PS4 and the Microsoft Store. If you want it on Steam, it'll take about a year. Anyway, it's time for this spacefaring simpleton to get back out there and wreak havoc on the uncertain populace of Halcyon. This has been Cygnus Jason, and I will catch you all on the game side. Later.